The Mahoney County Board of Elections will hold a regular board meeting of the members of the board on Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024, at 4 p.m. in the boardroom meeting of the Mahoney County Board of Elections offices, 345 Oak Hill Avenue, Youngstown, Ohio. Call to order. Would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Barger?
Here.
Attorney Beatrice?
Here.
Ms. Del Pesto?
Here.
Would the vice chairwoman of the Mahoney County Board lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a moment of silence, please, for our nation? Thank you. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes of the August 13th and August 15th special board meetings?
So moved.
Motion made by member Joyce Kale-Pesta, seconded by Vice Chairwoman Sandra Barger. Is there any discussions? I have some discussions about the minutes. I just wanted to make sure that on my report, okay, it's in there, never mind. I answered, I'm talking to myself. That's what happens when you I didn't miss it. I got my social security card in the mail. I'm still not over that. All right. Having no discussions, would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Del Pesto?
Yes.
Would someone approve the bills of accounts and payments for June, July, and August of 2024?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Chairwoman Sandra Barger. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Joyce Kale-Pesta. This goes to my report, but I don't see an item on here for a gate. And that was supposed to be,
That's under the director's report.
it's under your report? Okay,
Unfinished business, actually.
all right. Any other questions? Hearing none, would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Del Pesto?
Yes.
The chairman's report, well, the one item I had was the gate, and you said that you're gonna bring that up under unfinished business. And once again, I wanna stay on this building. Malarkey, not to be confused with our employee malarkey. But we need to find a new building, and so I want this board to do something to move that ball forward. I know we have a presidential election coming up, and I know our resources and energy gotta go to that. But as soon as we're clear of that, we should be just really looking at it. So I would like myself and one Republican to, really stay on the ball with that.
I think it would help if the two board members set a meeting with the commissioners and have a meeting downtown, express our concerns and see where
Okay.
they're at
Yeah,
with that.
especially with this new directive. It's just not, it's almost impossible for people to walk into this building. I mean, it's just,
Yeah, the parking here is not.
it's atrocious.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Did you get the prosecutor's opinion on what we're allowed to do about moving our building, about moving our
I
space?
believe we
We
did.
did. It was a couple months ago,
Yeah.
2 months ago, maybe. Or last month, the month before.
Basically, we have to work with the commissioners.
Yep.
I knew we have to work with commissioners, but we are allowed to do that per law.
Correct, but then the commissioners.
Just
would
have to approve the
final
spending.
approval. Right.
Yes.
The commissioners would have to approve the spending.
Right. Okay, so, would you set up a meeting?
Yes.
Or Annie or someone, work with Sandra, would you like to serve
Sure.
with that on me? I don't wanna force you to do anything, but I just don't think the parking here is terrible for
It is,
people.
it is.
So, Tom, could you facilitate setting up a
I
meeting?
will. I'll
Me and
gladly do
Sandra,
it.
and we could even do it at their regular meeting. No sense of meeting behind doors? We can just see if we could get on their agenda one Thursday.
We could have a staff meeting, which is a public meeting.
Okay.
And the meeting would be invited to attend that.
Yeah.
To
Okay.
be the board of election and commissioners.
Would you facilitate that for us and let us know, work with work with my schedule, work with Sandra's schedule, so we can get that done?
Yeah, because I think the prosecutor's office in their letter said that we could go look, we could sign it, sign a lease, however, the commissioners have to approve it. So we're kind of at their
Mercy.
mercy.
But this building is just,
Going back that far, Joyce, myself fought this move.
Many times.
Many times we fought this move.
I mean, we were better off in the uptown than we
We
are
were,
here.
we were
100%.
better off at the other building.
Yeah.
Because we had major parking, I mean, we had parking everywhere. Nobody had to pay for it, nobody had to walk, it was right there. This building is not conducive for what we need. And we have equipment and stuff everywhere in this building. I mean, we're not centrally located in one spot in this building. I would like to attend the staff meeting too. If I
Well, you're, well, then,
That'd be
yeah,
great.
It's a
that'd be
public
great.
meeting, we can,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, and then I'll wait for the unfinished business on the gate. I wanna
Okay.
make sure that gets accomplished though, before early voting
Correct.
starts. All right? Let's go to the director's report.
Two things. One that's on the agenda is we need to approve and pay a more obligation invoice number 1100 for 1494. That was for election night expenses and food. That we started that years ago under Joyce and myself, and we continued that. We submitted the invoice after the fact, and so now we need a more obligation to pay that for 1494.
So moved.
I'll
There-
second.
There's a motion made by member Joyce Kilpesta. There's a second by Vice Chairwoman Sandra Barger. Is there any discussions? I just want to say, you know, there's a lot of people that come here, the deputies, everyone. I think we're asking people, this actually helps us do our job because people don't have to leave to go get something to eat. And so that helps us move this election process further. So I think it's a well paid expense. It's just my 3 cents. All right, does anyone else have any comments or concerns?
Well, and the only reason it became a legal obligation was because of the change in the PO date. So
Yeah.
it was correct originally, so.
Correct.
Yeah, but I just want on the record the reason why we do
buy
that.
food.
Yeah, it's not like we're giving people free dinners. They would be entitled to go get their own dinner, which means people would be leaving their post, deputies would be leaving their post. This way we have everyone here and then go down and we can,
Yeah, it comes out to about $14 a person.
yeah, it's well worth the expense. All right, would the director call the roll on that issue, please?
Ms. Barger,
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice.
Yes.
Ms. Calpesta.
Yes.
And then, one other thing I want to bring up is a new directive we received on Saturday, Directive 2024,
21, I think.
21.
21.
24, 21.
And it's going to be new procedures for the use of the drop box, who can drop off absentee ballots. In the past 26 years, it was always family members.
It's
husband,
in the
wife.
law, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 35.
How can he change the law without the law being changed?
It's not changing law. He wants people who, if you're bringing in your husband's ballot, you can put your own ballot in the drop box, but if you're bringing in your husband's, you have to come inside, sign your name to the back of the envelope, which has been a long standard practice for us, and put it in the drop box.
This
So
is
he's
an attestation form.
Right.
So it's a directive that came out Saturday morning. Of course, we were closed yesterday, so we're going to be talking with the Ohio Association of Election Officials, other boards. I'm sure there's going to be more discussion with the Secretary of States. and,
Possible.
Possible.
Yeah, probably, yeah, possible.
Possible.
And so it's something that Melissa and myself will sit down in discussion with other counties, getting procedures in place in case this, we have to do this.
I'm just reading this directive now. I feel bad for the election, I feel bad for people in Mahoning County, because this building is not conducive to someone walking and parking their car. This is really making it hard for people to vote.
Well, they never really had any restrictions on the drop boxes either, they've always been,
I mean, we got it under video.
so this is the first time restrictions have actually been put on the drop box.
Gee, I wonder why. I'm sorry.
So I'm wondering if we can, what, I don't understand. Is this now the time to talk about this new directive, or?
I think if the board member could look at it, we're gonna put a policy in place, like I said, we just got it, at the next board meeting. And we'll have discussions prior to us putting that policy together.
Well, we don't have much time because October 6th, the voting starts.
Yeah, 1 month.
You know, Tom, to place the person outside, even if you did put, you have to build them a little shelter or something because of the weather, you know. So you have,
need 2 employees too as well.
you need a Democrat and Republican, right? That's gonna be a hassle.
Yeah,
So this requires them to sign a form?
that's correct. I don't know if I attached that form or not.
Yeah, there's a form,
But there is a form.
which we really never used it, you know, the form before. We always just had them sign the back of the envelope because the envelope would keep.
It's a presidential election. We've been
Yeah.
through this every 4 years with changes in policies under both.
So my question is,
Secretary of State's.
we're requesting them to sign this form, but does this mean that they have to get the form? Can't we leave this form at the Dropbox?
Well, that's one option, yeah. We could leave it there, but then
Them filling it out would be a problem. Who's gonna
we're even
stop?
filling it out.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that just came out. We'll have discussion, other
Well,
counties.
there's no
will be
place
having
for
this.
a board member to sign this.
No,
So it's just an attestation of the voter.
that's correct.
Or the person dropping it off, correct?
That's correct. In the past, how we did it when we didn't have drop boxes, if you brought your wife's in, your husband's in, you would sign the back of that envelope, attesting basically that that's your wife.
You
that's
can
your
bring any
husband.
family members in.
Yeah, that's mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother, sister.
Yeah, cousin,
grandparents.
I mean, the law hasn't changed.
No.
So maybe we can have a sign there and have these forms there.
And it's gonna be challenged in court, and since it's an election issue, it'll be expedited. And so we'll have to wait and see the final product from that, but it is right now a directive that carries a weight of law, and we're following it.
Right, we have to follow it.
Yes.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, it doesn't say that we can't do it that way.
It
Just says that this attestation has to be signed.
Correct.
Doesn't say that a board worker has to witness the attestation. It
Right.
doesn't say that they have to be handed it to them. It just says that they have to attest to it.
Correct. We're being told to do it, but not how to do it.
So my question is, I mean, I'd like, is this something maybe we want to put in when we mail out the absentees? Put it in the envelope.
That's a good idea. It's a very good idea. I was just gonna, it's a very good idea.
What would be the harm in sticking this in every absentee that we mail?
Not at all. Not at all.
With clarification on why it has to be filled out. If you're returning your to the Dropbox.
Yeah, if you're returning anyone else's, any family member, first of all, you can only bring up family members in, that law is pretty clear.
Correct.
That's been on the books forever, okay? But if you're gonna turn it in, then you have to sign this form.
Right.
That would be one way to,
That's the best way to do it, you're right.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
and
right.
even have a sign out there saying, did you sign the attestation form? If not, please open this box and sign the attestation form. I mean, we can make a sign that we put at the Dropbox.
They provided us that signage already,
They're also gonna be sending you a laminated one.
right there.
They'll be sending you a laminated
Okay.
one. But if you don't wanna wait, you can do that. And this is
We
because,
have a laminator.
yeah. Well, they also, in this, do talk about the expansion based on a recent federal court decision about disabled voters and people assisting them, so it now includes caretakers. So that's part of the reason for the attestation form.
You know, you you almost have to put that in with the ballot in the envelope.
Yeah, I mean, but we
When
need,
when they return the ballot. you have to-
when do the first
How are you gonna
ballots
keep that
start to go
together?
out?
They won't go out to that 30 days prior, except for the
October
Department
6th.
ballots.
To go out August 7th, to go out the day after,
The
for
day
the
after
voting
the
starts.
7th.
Eight?
Yeah,
So,
closed registration is the 7th.
Seven, okay, eight.
so do we need to have a meeting to figure this out prior?
Well, we will, because there's one scheduled first Tuesday in October, which is
That's too late.
That's too late.
October 1st.
October 1st. Well, Melissa and me, we've got a policy in place, again, based on discussions with the Secretary of State's office, other counties, the OAEO. And we'll get that out to the board members, and just have to figure out whatever we can do and the best way to handle this.
If you reach out to Aaron Ackerman, I'm sure that he will provide you with what the other
Correct.
board members are doing. He's already working on it.
It's
So
gonna be a big issue around the state.
it is
with the
gonna be a big
neighboring
issue around the
counties,
state.
and we'll get a policy in place.
All right. Well, I just don't want it to be last minute or willy-nilly. I want this
Right.
election, on behalf of myself and this board, to be as mistake-free, so we're gonna measure twice and cut once. So I make sure we're following the law, following the directives, and not making it, especially at this location, where people would have to come into the board to get this. That is such an inconvenience
Oh, it is.
for people. I don't like disenfranchising voters, and we did that last election to 4 voters, because they make us look at signatures. It still haunts me to this day. All right.
We're on unfinished business, right?
That's
Yeah.
right,
So ballot tracks, Tom.
Melissa's got a report at the next meeting, it's our election night reporting. I think we're going ahead with that to streamline our election night reporting. That's going to be easier for voters to see online here in the office. And she's been working on that with, I believe, Roki,
Now, Roky's got a new job, I think she's working out with, what's his name?
someone, yeah. So
She's
she'll have
working
that.
out with Keith.
Right. But the security gate for their person voting, facilities has went in and ordered that.
Okay.
They're gonna be the ones installing it, so next month on the bills, you're gonna see a reimbursement from the Board of Elections back to facilities. And we use Granger for that, and it's one of the sliding ones that will go close to the ceiling, have a lock on it.
And who will have access to the keys?
Melissa, myself, and Chris Rackesy,
Okay.
as well as facilities.
Can I ask you a question, Tom?
Yes.
It's my understanding that 6 or 7 trays of absentee applications came in today.
That's
You
correct.
have the staff starting on next Monday to put them on?
We have the
You sure?
seasonal work comes next Monday, but we're staying tonight until 6 o'clock
Okay.
to get those time stamped and entered.
I volunteer, I'll come in and help,
Well,
if you
you-
need
okay,
help, yeah,
yeah.
with them.
Yeah, you're pretty fast on
I'm
that.
pretty fast.
All right, because at the last board meeting, we were supposed to, according to the minutes, would be installed in September. So is that still the,
Oh, yeah, it'll be installed by the end of September, 1st of October.
okay.
It will be installed by the first day of early voting.
But I haven't seen any pictures or anything of it. Is something gonna be presented to us?
I can print a picture of it for you, I'm serious, I will.
If it's
yeah.
been ordered, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that we're
Yeah.
complying with the law.
Yeah.
And we gotta secure that
Yeah,
area.
that's the last area to secure. It was actually pretty secure overall, but there was too much access from other employees in the building.
Watching,
Right.
watching
Right.
through.
That was the problem.
Okay. Anything else under unfinished business?
No, sir.
All right. Under new business, approve a cash out of 80 vacation hours for Danielle O'Neill.
So moved.
There's a motion made by Sandra Barger. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Joyce Calpesta. Is there any discussion? I want to say once again, these people do not take all the vacation that they're entitled to. That benefits the taxpayer. And people, to keep good people and to make sure our staff is well paid, you have to pay people and treat them well. And if we don't do that, morale goes down, and we can't have morale down when we're dealing with people's votes. So I very much am in favor of this. And it's not like we're giving her anything, she's actually giving us something. So I'll take do we have a motion in a second? Any more discussion? Hearing none, would the director call the roll,
Ms.
please?
Barger?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Calpasta?
Yes.
All right. Anything else under new business? Hearing none, is there anything for the good of the order or public comments? All right, so here's how we do this. You stand up, you just say your name, you direct the comments to the chair. This is not a purpose to be a discussion. This is a purpose for you to express your, whatever it is you want to express to this board. And we give you 3 minutes, and so you can start now. Go
My
ahead.
name is Kathleen Berry.
Okay,
I am a resident of Youngstown. I am a retired Air Force nurse, and I've come here to discuss the consequential nature of this upcoming election, which will probably be the most important of our lifetimes. We are faced with division in our country that is unprecedented. We have trauma, for me, that culminated in a person that denied the results of the election 4 years ago, and therefore thought that it was not correct for the government, for our country to have a peaceful transfer of power. I'm so concerned about that, but most of all, I'm concerned about the intimidation that's occurring. I'm concerned about people wearing T-shirts, having on their trucks vulgar signs that say things like "fuck Biden," and excuse me for saying this outright, or just intimidating kind of things. I do not want to be intimidated when I come to vote, when I come to early vote. And so I want to know the board's intentions for how the board and the Board of Elections is going to protect us citizens so that we do not have to face people with T-shirts or with intimidating slogans, or I just do not want to face that. And those of us that are older now, I'm 77, and we feel a little more vulnerable. And I want to be able to cast my vote without intimidation. And even at the drop-off boxes, are there going to be people that assure that there are not people intimidating people as they drop off their ballots? I really appreciate the board's kind consideration to my concern.
thank you. I will just, even though it's not discussion, I will just say this board nor any government can suppress anyone's speech, okay? But there are rules as to how close to the voting they can be, but we cannot pass laws that say you can't wear shirts that have vulgar slogans on them. That would not be constitutional. We do provide security here at the building for early voting. But as far as what goes on beyond the 100 feet, we have no ability to restrict anyone's speech. Now, we do have the ability to make sure that no one harasses you. And so we have security here that's going to make sure no one gets harassed. As to people wearing shirts and saying vulgar things, there's nothing this board or any government can do, because the Supreme Court has ruled that vulgarity to one person is poetry to another. I'm not doing the quote correct justice, but in a country where we value freedom of speech, we cannot make rules as to what people can say or do beyond the 100 feet. Within the 100 feet, there's no electioneering allowed, no intimidating allowed. We have people that go around on election day, make sure that's not happening. We have direct lines, we have it broken down. Nobody in this country, and I speak on behalf of this board, we're not gonna put up with anyone intimidating anyone to go to exercise their right to vote. If they're not registered or whatever, they can vote by a provisional ballot, and then we'll deal with it later. But this board will not tolerate anyone being intimidated from voting. I think I speak on behalf of all the board members when I say that. And if we find out that that's happening at any polling location, we will deal with it appropriately. But as far as vulgarity, there's nothing this board can do about it. People can wear shirts with vulgar saying. Now, they can't come into the voting booth with paraphernalia on. They gotta cover it up, and I think we're on safe ground to say that. But beyond that 100 feet, people can say or anything they want.
Can I add something?
Go ahead.
And this last few elections, Melissa Wasco did come up with, our deputy director came up with an increased plan of security out there. We have extra patrols within the sheriff's department now. And in a presidential election like this, usually the first call we get from the location, myself and Melissa will go. When we did in the primary, we sent the deputies the first time now instead of giving any second chances. So we have patrols out there all day long. We have a district set up that we have the sheriff's department presence out there driving through parking lots on call for us for these situations.
Now, my understanding, Tom, is that we're paying for extra patrols, correct?
Correct.
This time,
This time,
okay.
okay?
Yeah.
And Joyce and myself did that in 2020, but this is even above and beyond what Joyce and me did in 2020. We had very few problems in 2020.
We caught them.
It wasn't perfect.
Yeah, it wasn't perfect.
No election is perfect.
2020 was not perfect.
But nobody should be intimidated from voting. I'm gonna get really upset if that happens. Because some of us have family members protecting that right. So you're not gonna denigrate my family member because you don't want someone to vote. That's not happening on my watch, I can tell you that right now. Is there anything else for the good of the order of public comments?
My name is Eugene Connors, and I guess I'm one of those guys that drives a pickup truck with political messages on the back. None of them are profane, as far as I know. I have things like no borders, no country, and then underneath that I have Lakin. And then I have over on the other side is I never met a veteran who voted for socialism. And I've become an activist over the past years because I feel that communism is coming to take over this country. People are trying to stop your free speech. I don't want to intimidate anybody's vote, but I don't want people that get active in politics get thrown in jail just because somebody in power doesn't like what we're saying. So I am against any kind of profanity, albeit I did go with one sign that I put in my front yard. You know what that got me, along with my other political signs? That got me a lady for over 2 years. She dumped garbage in my front yard, and she tried to throw it at my signs. And you know, I'm old. I have high blood pressure, and now I got cancer. But I'm going to die fighting for my country, because I believe communism is here to take it over. I don't know that I used up my 3 minutes.
You do not. You still have a minute and a half.
Okay, well, that garbage, you know how I've had to find out who it was? Police, Austintown police tried to help me. What could they do? I had to go and pick through that garbage. That garbage bag had snot rags and all kinds of other garbage in it. And I used a picker-upper and I looked through. 2.5 years went by, and I looked down, there's a giant eagle bag with the usual stuff in it, but attached to it was something that looked like a label off a prescription bottle. And that's how I got her. But she denied it. She denied it. It stopped the next day, but guess what's happening now? It's either friends of hers or somebody else. Now we're doing onesies, twosies, just throwing a bottle or something out at the signs. So if that's what that's what I'm worried about, ma'am, because that's somebody trying to influence my vote or tell me I can't say who I'm for. All right, I think I had my say, but
Thank
I
you.
do drive one of those trucks. You'll see it all. You know what happens to me? Same thing that happened to my last 2 vehicles. I had to quit leasing vehicles because they keyed them because they didn't like my stuff.
Thank you.
We're gonna put this-
Does anyone else have good for the order of public we only have.
Do I have,
You
did I
spoke
have
already.
any time left? I just don't want anybody calling me a communist because
Okay.
I'm a registered Democrat.
All right.
I'm not a communist.
I didn't,
No, I'm sorry, you didn't,
I didn't
you
hear him
didn't call
say
anybody
that.
communist.
He has every right to speak
He does,
and
and
make
so
his
do I.
thoughts, and so do you, and you both had your time. Is there
Okay.
anyone else for the good of the order of public comments? Yes.
My name is Paulette Maley. My husband was a United States Navy combat veteran, and I just wanted to address the gentleman about...
I would prefer that your
Okay.
comments are
Okay.
directed to me.
A lot of confusion. People confuse socialism with communism. I was going to ask the gentleman, is he on Medicare? Does he have health insurance? Those are considered socialist programs, but they're not communistic. Communistic implies that we have a dictator for a ruler. We are not allowed to vote freely. Elections are not open and free. We do not have the freedom of choice. And it's unfortunate that he has experienced hate. Unfortunately, there are idiots on both sides of the aisle, and I'm sorry that he's had to witness that. But I am a Democrat. My husband was a veteran. And I take offense to socialist programs which are supposed to benefit the people of this country, labeled communist. And that's all I have to say. And thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else for the good of the order of public comments? Okay. So just so everyone knows, to keep these orderly, you're to direct and we're gonna we'll put out a sign that the comments are to be directed towards the chairman. This isn't a discussion, it is your time to utilize your right to free speech, and everyone seems like they got to do that today, and that's why we have the good of the order and public comments.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
I had given Annie some literature on putting a policy together, and she had also had some literature. Are you working on that, Annie?
I
Put a
am.
policy together?
Yeah, I kind of had to take a
If
break.
we get a policy together and have it printed on our website, and everybody knows what our rules will be.
Right. Well, I did do some research on that, and I have found that, and I did look at some other public bodies, and so it doesn't denigrate, and that we keep order. We are allowed to keep order in these meetings. We follow Robert's Rules of Order. We don't cut each other off. We don't insult each other up here. I think we run a very good meeting. But to keep this, as the temperature rises, as it does every 4 years, we're gonna have the comments directed to myself and not have people going at each other or saying it. Everyone had their say here, and I'm glad to do this, and I can't wait till this goes online and more people can participate. So that's what I have to say about that. All right. The next scheduled meeting for the Mahoning County Board of Elections is scheduled for Tuesday, October 1st, 2024, at 4 p.m. in the boardroom of the Mahoning County Board of Election Offices, 345 Oak Hill Avenue, Youngstown, Ohio, 44502. My only question is that will we have a policy in place by then that we can enact?
100%.
100%, okay. Hearing that, and based on that representation, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
There's a motion made by member Joyce Kelpesta to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?
Second?
Seconded by Vice Chairwoman Sandra Barger. If I don't hear any discussions, I'd ask the director to call the roll.
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Attorney Petros?
Yes.
Ms. Kelpesta?
Yes.
This meeting is officially adjourned.
All right.